Good morning. Welcome to GSC Live Mornings. It's June 3rd, day 82, in this stay home, stay safe time that we have together. Um, this morning, my cup of coffee. Pulled out one of Cindy's beautiful cups, thinking about the beauty of now. That probably sounds a little odd. Um, Let me expand upon that. Psalm 27. We've been in Psalm 27 these past number of days. We're getting close to the end. The psalmist continues, "This I believe, that I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord and be strong. Take heart and wait for the Lord." Now, waiting sounds like a very familiar thing. We're waiting for things right now. We're waiting for a solution to the coronavirus pandemic. And on top of that, we're waiting for some type of resolution to the injustices that are behind these protests across the country. Like I mentioned, this past week we've been traveling along day by day with the psalmist who wrote Psalm 27. And it's been a roller coaster ride. We don't know exactly what was happening in the background for this psalmist, but we can imagine it was a very difficult time. We've been able to relate to that day by day here in our difficult time. So I find great joy in seeing this psalmist end on such a positive note, waiting for the Lord with hope and confidence. But we might ask, but how long do we need to wait? Well, for much of Christian history, perhaps we've been swayed in an unhelpful direction because we've been trained to put all our hope in the afterlife, in the part of eternal life that starts when we die. But I'm a believer that eternal life started when I was baptized. And for me, that was when I was a child. However, our psalmist challenges the notion that we have to wait until then. Despite fear, loneliness, abandonment, and violence, the psalmist proclaims, "This I believe, that I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living." While waiting for God, the psalmist comes to the conclusion that God's goodness can come not at a much later time, but at any moment in the land of the living now. So that's my message. We still have a long way to go, apparently, until we find a cure, a vaccine for the coronavirus. We have a long way to go before we can solve these racial injustices. Apparently a long way to go before we can rest with some unity in our country again. But while we wait, remember that God's goodness may be seen at any moment, even here and even now. These times are difficult. It's hard to admit that there is goodness on the way. There's goodness in the Lord on the way. And I don't want to sound Pollyannish, and I don't want to put aside the pain and the hurt that so many people are feeling, or the frustration, or even the anger. But I'm remembering back in my early days of college when I went from a small town, a very protected little community, to a big city, to a big university, and was exposed to so many people that were so different from me, and a lifestyle and a culture that was so different for me. I was terrified, and I called my dad and I said, "I got to come home. I can't do this. I can't handle this. This is too hard." And there was silence on the other end of the phone, and my dad says, "All good things only come through difficult times where you have to figure things out." For a country, we're in that very difficult time. We've got to figure this out. And I hope that in the meantime, we can think about the now and the beauty of God that is in the now, even in those painful moments. Look for the beauty. Look for the beauty that's there in change, the change that is on the horizon. Thanks be to God. Have a great day.